Good morning.
It was.
I will call this meeting to order at 8:31. Thank you for being here, everybody. We've got a couple meetings this morning and presentations, so we're going to try to move along. And I would ask for approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Sammy.
Second.
Bruce, second?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Public comment. Thank you for being here. Okay. You'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Item 4, approval of minutes from our regular meeting on November 13th.
So I'm going to request a amendment be made to those minutes to reflect that the shortfall that had to be inputted for the revolving loan fund was in the amount of $1,149.96. I think it was stated in the minutes that it was $1,000.88. Yeah, it was just off, so if we could have an amendment of the minutes to reflect that amount, and that's on me, that was, I had misspoke on the number that was needed, and so that was off by $50 or so. So
Okay.
that is an error on my part. I'll take full responsibility for that.
Thanks for that detail. Make a motion to amend the minutes. Okay, so I have a motion from Bill to amend the minutes, second from Bruce, sorry. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Do we need a second motion to approve the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you could just have a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 13th.
I'll second.
Brianna, second from Lindsay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all. Approval of financials from November. Any comments on that?
I'd just like to state that we have added a line item to reflect that the MEDC facade grant to separate our facade dollars from the MEDC dollars. So just a new line item in there if you hadn't noticed.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the finances.
Motion from Ben. Second from Bruce. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Executive report, Andrew.
Sure. So moving along with the streetscape, we'll get more into that later in the meeting. For the Music Vault property, I think I may have mentioned that there was movement on it that has kind of receded now. So that is not, the sale of that property is not going to take place with that particular buyer. The Washington Street Northern Hotel project, they have released their RFP now for the grant stabilization work with the land bank. And so bids will be reviewed at next Monday's land bank meeting, and we can kind of expect work on that property fairly soon once those bids get reviewed and the land bank selects one. They're really hoping to move pretty quickly on that project to get that stabilization work going. We did review another facade grant application, and so there'll be a motion on that later in the meeting. And then I've just continued to work with several downtown property owners and kept a good pulse on the downtown real estate scene and continue to work to help fill properties. I don't know if, or that'll come later in the meeting. So that's all for me.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. Any questions for Andrew? Okay, moving on to reports from subcommittees, facade grant again.
So we reviewed the 433 Water Street property application. They were missing a couple documents in their initial application that we wanted to see some more renderings. So the ad hoc committee is making the recommendation that we approve $20,000 in facade grant. Their initial ask was $50,000, but given the direction of that program and wanting to really prioritize historic buildings and buildings that are harder to work on due to their historic nature. That's why we're recommending the $20,000 rather than the full $50,000 request. So I just asked for a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Sammy. Second. Second from Bruce. Any questions or comments about that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks for your support on that. And Streetscape Subcommittee update.
So we received the Spicer numbers for the kind of rough engineering cost for what it's going to take to get that project going. And the ad hoc committee sat down with Spicer. That's kind of ongoing discussion to flush out the best path forward and what design or kind of what streetscape option we're going to go with, because Spicer kind of laid out several options with several different price points. So there's continual discussion about that. So we're hoping that we can have full board discussion here in the coming months to really get that project moving forward.
Anything to add, committee?
I'll just add that, we're looking at more with US 31 and 27 and Washington next year, given the construction, probably looking at a phased approach, but so looking at a certain segment to do. I think it's a plan next meeting, we'll kind of show some renderings. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you both. Gap financing update.
So we're still waiting to get that in front of city council to actually add to our TIF plan. Bill, is there any update with, the city attorney reviewing that?
I did talk to him,
language?
but I don't have a response back.
Can we expect to have that on the city council agenda in January so that program can be officially kind of amended within our TIF agreement or a plan?
So I know we're gonna need, a public hearing?
Public hearing and
So
that.
I think we need to, figure out that timeline.
It would be January though.
So I think the first
Potentially.
step was, city attorney opinion, but then, timeline's another one.
Okay.
Is that something that the DDA would present to council, this concept, or what does that look like?
The best approach would probably be to give them board education, so I am hoping to meet with members and give them, I think in a full public meeting, it's kind of nuanced ideas, and I don't know how many city council members understand TIF fully, so I think it might be better to actually meet with them one-on-one to discuss, hey, this is what we're looking to do, this is kind of how it's going to affect you, as a city council member, this is how it's beneficial for the DDA, so I think that's probably gonna be the best approach for it.
I agree, that was helpful for me in this meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to old business, revolving loan fund.
So in this meeting, we do finally guys, we have the actual check to give to Venture North. So, after Kyle signed it, so now we officially have them monies going over to Venture North. And we can kind of tie that up with a bow and move it along and actually get it activated again within our community, which is super exciting.
Thanks for your work on that, Tyler.
I do want to mention we were able to find where the account was adjusted. It was 2018. Some random person was the DDA director at that time. So that random person was me, by the way. Yeah, we were able to find that. It was adjusted during a board meeting and everything like that.
Okay.
I just don't remember it.
It's all right. Thank you.
Yep.
I would have left you unnamed.
Yeah, an anonymous DDA director.
Not so anonymous anymore. Shine. Shine's our contractor that handles the tree lighting.
Yeah, and so we did get them out. They came 2 weeks before, or a week before Sleigh Bell. There was 3 trees down. Just wanted to make sure that was up and running for Sleigh Bell weekend. And I believe the invoice is included in the board packet. Just want to continually remind, hey, to have them out here, I think it was an invoice of around $1,100. So just kind of keep that on your radar that as we continue to service those lights, it does come with cost. But I'm glad, obviously it's fantastic to work with, and they'll always come out and help us out when we need.
So the service agreement we had when we did this was only for the first year? I mean.
Yeah, yep, so it was warranty for a year, and then after that, we have to pay for every service call, and I think even under the warranty, there was a cost related to a service call. It was just the lights themselves, and it's the same issue where looks like some type of animal chewing and then potential people climbing on those trees. That's where he suspects the damage is coming from. He's still like, there's really nothing you can do regarding that kind of damage, or at least not that he knows of, for keeping animals off the lights.
Okay, thank you. Riverwalk.
Just some brief updates. So we have the North Riverwalk, the grant agreements completed, that was sent into the MDNR for that improvement. The South Riverwalk, we had the 5 different bid packages went out. The remaining ones came back the Friday before Thanksgiving. The bids were high, but I think they were at a point where we could actually do something with them, whereas the other 2 previous bids we could not. They were just, one, we didn't get a bid. The second one was triple the cost. So yeah, we're at the point now where we're looking at how to award each one. We do need EDA approval for certain ones. There are only one bid for 3 of them. So we need a sole source approval for that, and then we need some approval for the scope reduction. But we're working through that. We have kind of a scope we're looking to do. We've met with our different partners, the West Shore Community College, Tourism Authority, Foundation. So we're trying to wrap this all up to put on at least a couple things on the 17th agenda. If I have to push something out to the January one, I don't want to, but it's all coming together this week to see getting the approvals and the awards, the contracts. So.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Update on the social district, anything, Andrew?
So we did recommend to council the approval of Milwaukee House to be added to the social district, or for their social district like license permit. So they were approved at the last city council meeting. Just wanted to have that up there.
And RFP.
So we have released an RFP for accounting services. We wanted to make sure we got that out before tax season hit, because before you know it, it's going to be June, and that contract's going to be due, and we don't run into the same case that we did this year, where we kind of were forced to sign with the existing services. Again, nothing wrong with the services that we currently have, just making sure that we're not doing singularities and we're getting, kind of feeling the market out there and benchmarking what we're currently paying. Again, those have been sent out in, I forget the exact deadline that we put on that. I think it was mid-December or January sometime. I'll have to look back on the RFP exactly and get when exactly those deadlines are due. But we can expect to have hopefully three quotes from all local accounting services. We didn't go out of the community because within our financial policy, we do state that we prioritize. We'll always select local services before we go out of our region.
Okay, thank you. Audit update.
Well, I can speak on that.
Okay.
So in the last meeting, the board needed a little bit more time to look over the audit to make a final approval. So today I'm asking for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 audit. Everything came back great. The only thing that they mentioned was just reviewing the policy, which we had brought to your attention.
Anybody have any questions about the audit after reviewing it further? At this time, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the final 23-24 DDA audit with no further corrections.
Motion from Ben,
Second.
second from Karen. Any discussion?
Thank you for the extra time, Carmen.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Carmen. New business, Little River Holdings Gateway Project. We have TX Tafiatis. How'd I say that right?
After all those years,
X Tafiatis.
F-Taxiatis.
F Taxiatis.
Hey, his first name.
Short.
Should I need to recuse myself during
No, I won't start.
I don't think so.
Thanks for being here, T.
Actually, the drive wasn't bad at all. I was surprised with the drive home from Traverse City. I mean, I'll just go like that. So, in the 5 minutes that Kyle has allocated for me, I want to give you a very quick update on the status of the Gateway project, and also show you our current plans for streetscape in the vicinity of the Gateway project, meaning the first block of River Street and half of the first block south, going south on Division. Currently, there is a view of the project looking west along River Street with the boutique hotel complex on the north side where the House of Flavors was. And then on the south side where there were a number of businesses, we have two mixed-use buildings that's primarily residential with some commercial. We have along River Street some townhouses, and then above the townhouses, between the two mixed-use buildings, there is a 3-level parking structure with entrances from River Street and primarily from Division Street. The first phase of the project is going to be the South Complex, residential, commercial. As I said, currently we have 8 townhouses. They're right here. 47 apartments and studios in the 2 buildings on the west and the east side of the property, 47 of those, and there are studios, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments. We have 2 retail spaces, a small one down in the corner of Division and River Street, and the bigger one on along US 31. The new Little River Holdings offices are going to be on the 4th floor of the east building, where we expect to consolidate the operations of Little River Holdings and its subsidiaries. And then the parking deck, public parking deck, that with 210 spaces. On the north side, we have the hotel complex with 97 units, hotel units, with a hotel operation. Eventually, the units are going to be sold, or some of them will be sold. It will be like private condos that will be part of a hotel operation. There are, in the lower level, this is a 5-story building, and because of the height, we had to go through the planned unit development process that was approved last year through the Planning Commission, the City Planning Commission. And so on the lower level, we have a spa, a pool, and some other amenities. Actually, the pool now has moved to the up to the rooftop. Next to the rooftop bar, there will be, in addition to that bar, will be a restaurant on the 1st floor of the building. And then over in the west portion, the west wing of the building. There will be a native heritage venue to showcase the history of the tribe and the city. And then we have on the northeast corner of the building will be back here somewhere. Will be a conference center with currently 150, enough for 150 people. And of course, the conference center and the hotel units drive the number of parking spaces that we have to make available. So the parking structure, it's going to be a public parking structure. In the hotel and the conference center, on this new basis, will be renting spaces, whether for the day, for the week, whatever. Same thing with anybody else in town who wants to have parking space there. And also the tenants of the apartments on the south side will be able to, again, rent space on a daily basis, annual basis, whatever. Currently, the project, the first phase is estimated at about 33 million, second phase at 45 million, and for a total of a little over 80 million. And those are today's construction prices. So by the time each phase starts, we expect that the first phase will not have any substantial increases in cost due to inflation. However, I cannot speak for the second phase, the condo hotel. Again, that's another view of the project. And what I want to talk about next is the streetscape, understanding that the streetscape plan has not been completed yet. We have been talking with Spicer, who is also working on behalf of the DDA on the streetscape plan. So we have incorporated within everything that the concept plan is envisioning. We do have to have the plan finalized like yesterday because we have to have construction costs finalized in order to input them in the financial model, because the catch-22 here is that the banks want accurate numbers, and to get accurate numbers depends on a number of other factors, including the streetscape plan for the overall downtown. So what we have then is on both sides of the street in front of the project, those are pavers, and the entrances to the hotel and to the parking on both sides is, I believe, stamped concrete. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. And then there will be a number of trees along the south side with other landscaping. Most of the landscaping will be contained in raised containers, because the bottom of those containers has to be impermeable, due to the contamination on both sides of the street and the entire property, we cannot expose soils, underlying soils, to any of the uses. The only place where we can go down into the soils is for the 5 or 6 trees. And in those areas, we're excavating the soils a bit deeper so we can have the root system. There will be 2 crossings with lights. What's the proper name for that, Bill?
Signaled crossing?
Yeah, we'll flash, the lights will be flashing. So currently, the streetscape, at least up to this area, is part of what we have included in our development construction plan. We will be doing that, and of course, it will be being public infrastructure will be TIF reimbursable, and then the city will be responsible for underground utilities and street reconstruction whenever that happens. And again, that would also be TIF reimbursable. So another reason we want to get this in front of you is, unless there are any items that are of major concern, we want to proceed with that because we want to include the costs in the brownfield plan that we are in the process of working with the city right now. And we anticipate that in January, the City Brownfield Authority will be discussing with the DDA the locative capture. That is normally what we do with projects within DDA districts.
Yep, thank you.
5 minutes?
It was closer to 10, but it was, you're good, T.
T, we really appreciate the update, and obviously the Streetscape Committee will be working on further details as we have them, which I think will come to light pretty soon.
And again, so the importance, just for the board, the importance of this is we kind of have to get familiar because in the coming months, we will have to most likely make a decision on a brownfield plan similar to what we did on the Northern Hotel back in August, where we are forfeiting future TIF capture so they can get reimbursed for within a brownfield plan. So we can have more discussion about what that exactly means and do one-on-ones, kind of like what we did for the gap financing, just to get comfortable with, what exactly does it mean by us, forfeiting a capture and what have you. So we'll have further discussion, as that gets closer. But that's kind of why we just want to get familiar with this project and the streetscapes and their plan, because it'll eventually come before us to make a decision on the brownfield element.
Currently, there is about 15 million in TIF reimbursable redevelopment expenses in this project. That, excuse me, and that's in addition to whatever the city's public infrastructure expenses are going to be. And based on the millages, the local portion of the TIF is about 60% of that 15 so million. But we can talk about that more the next time.
All right, yeah, thank you. Thank you, T. This was a great update.
Thanks, T.
Can I ask one question since
Can we-
Steve's here?
Can you ask questions after the meeting?
I can.
We got another meeting we need, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. T, if you have a few minutes to stick around after the meeting.
I have a few minutes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item B, Love Wine LLC.
Yep, so Loveline has requested an off-premise liquor license for a business that they intend to operate here on a River Street storefront. They are a winery out of Ludington. Her business plan for this property was listed in the packet, and the off-premise liquor license is different than just like a full-blown liquor license. They're allowed to have 5 different off-premise tasting room permits. She has several others, so this is not like going out to escrow for a regular liquor license. It's a little bit of an easier process, but there is a need for local government approval. So this is us making a recommendation to City Council so that they make that decision of the local unit of government approval. But we'll just need to make a recommendation to City Council saying, yep, we approve this project or approve this business coming in.
And it's specific for a tasting.
Yeah, it's specific for a tasting room.
Okay.
Where's she looking to go? Does she know? Does she have a spot?
Yeah, so it's the corner property on River and Oak. I believe it's 431 River Street.
The clock is.
Right?
Okay.
What is her name? It doesn't matter.
So the business of Loveline is looking for a letter of support from the DDA.
Yeah, a drafted letter of support was in the packet as well as what we would recommend to City Council, just saying, hey, we recommend that they get the local government approval because we think this is adding to the, vibrancy of our downtown.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're a pretty well-regarded operation out of Ludington, and then again, they have an operation in Lowell, Michigan, as well as Portland, Michigan.
Okay. Is there an interest in support for this?
Yes. Make a motion.
Bill's making a motion. Second from Bruce. Any discussion? Who will be drafting the letter?
Already drafted.
Okay.
Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to public comment. Thanks again for being here. Board member comment. Tyler? Ben? Bill?
I just want to thank Sammy and the rest of the downtown for all their help with Sleigh Bell. I think it was a great event. Appreciate everyone's support, especially Sammy. I heard great that the businesses did well, and it's great.
Thank you, Bill. Bruce?
Glad you're back.
Thanks.
I missed you particularly.
Deanna?
Bruce did a good job last
Thank
meeting.
you.
Okay.
Of course he did. Lindsay?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Sammy?
Just thank everybody for Sleigh Bell support, and particularly the city for how the streets looked. I know we had some challenges leading up to it with snow, and it could have been very slushy, but it was great, so thank you.
Karen? I'll reiterate that very well-run event, and I think they're having a follow-up meeting on Friday, which is good to do shortly after something like that. So,
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion from Deanna. Second from Bill. If I could ask